Welcome back to another episode of One Town, One Community. Today I'm here with Yashah from Lucky Ducky Daycare. Yashah, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Can you just tell us a little bit about your business and what it is you do?
Well, Lucky Ducky Daycare is licensed by the Department of Early Education and Care, and I provide childcare for children ages 4 years old through grade 6. And there's multiple programs that I offer at Lucky Ducky Daycare.
And you started that about 15 years ago, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, in 2005.
So tell us your story. What made you want to start this business? Have you had any small business experience prior to this? And what keeps you motivated to keep it going?
So I have had previous experience with small businesses. In the 80s, I had my own line of clothing and jewelry, and I was located in 4 different malls. And then in the 90s, I decided to get my manicuring licensed, and I opened up a nail salon. And then once I started a family in the late 90s, we were thinking that I should probably do something that was a little bit different. And I decided to open up a daycare because I was really torn between being a full-time stay-at-home mom and still having a career. And this allowed me to be able to do both.
Cool. So what services do you offer at Lucky Ducky Daycare?
There's the preschool program for children ages 4, 5, and 6 if they've missed the cutoff for school. There's also the before and after school program for grades K through 6. And new this year, I've got remote learning assistance for children who will be in school part of the time and out of school part of the time. This will allow families that need to work outside of their home to drop off their kids here or to have their kids take the school bus to school. And I will be here on site to accommodate those families. And the most fun one of all is probably the summer camp. So there's all of those.
Could you maybe go into a couple of them and what can parents expect for their kids to be doing in these? What goes on?
Okay, so it really, it depends on the program that they sign up for. So for example, the preschool program runs daily for the academic school year from 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. And during that time, I am structured and teaching the children everything that they need to know to be ready for kindergarten. So that involves lessons plans that include monthly themes, and everything corresponds with that. So there's learning shapes and how to write and colors and days of the week and things like that. For the before and after school program, it's a little more straightforward. I'm supervising the children at the bus stop in the morning. They arrive about 6:30 in the morning. I serve them breakfast. They have some free time. Then there's some teacher-initiated activities so everyone can sort of come together and do stuff. Then I bring them to the bus stop, and that's when my second group comes in, which is usually the preschoolers. For after school, same type of thing. I'm at the bus stop. Everyone gets off. I'm like, whoa, Miss Yashah, this is what I did today. You know, and I'm listening to all the fun stories and stuff like that. And then I serve a PM snack. Children that have homework will get their homework done before they go home. So that's what they can expect from me.
That's awesome. Sounds like a lot of fun.
It is.
Is it hard work? Like what goes into running something like this?
So there's a lot of behind the scenes things that goes into running a daycare. My business hours are 6:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and that is my store hours. But with all of the means of people being able to communicate these days with mobile devices and whatnot, I'm basically open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I'm answering text and phone calls and emails. There's advertising, housekeeping, bookkeeping, preparing the weekly newsletters that I send out to parents. Then the preschoolers, their families will receive monthly newsletters that will describe the themes. It'll list parents, the kids' birthdays. So there's a lot that goes into it behind the scenes and off hours.
Cool. Can you run us through what your average day looks like?
So a typical day can really vary, and it depends on the age mix and the schedule for that day. So I offer flexible scheduling here. So there may be a day that, or a week, that I have 2 children that come twice a week for only preschool. And then there could be another week that I've got children attending the before and after school 5 days a week. So it really depends on who's here and what program they're signed up for. There's also full day. So there's some children who are sort of overlapping with all of those schedules on a given day. But it is structured. Every day is structured. And the things that always remain the same is meal times. And that's usually something that the kids can't wait to find out what they're going to eat. I tend to offer a wide variety of food, things that they've never tried at home. Parents sometimes won't offer it, or they have offered it and the kids didn't like it, and just for the sake of not having to fight, they will sort of say, okay, my kid doesn't like this, but I've had a lot of kids try some new and exciting things. So the meal times, for example, we've got 6:45 a.m. is breakfast, 10 o'clock is the morning snack, and then noontime is lunch. And the after school kids, when they go off the bus, they're usually really hungry because they chatted too much at lunch. So there's a PM snack.
Nice. So sounds like a lot of fun. Is it rewarding?
It is rewarding. When you spend a lot of time and energy thinking and planning and doing to prepare for each day, it is rewarding when the day runs smooth. You're like, woohoo, yay, yay me, pat on the back.
Nice. Why Norfolk? Are you from here? Do you feel like there's a strong sense of community here?
There is a strong sense of community. Actually, when we decided to purchase a home, we gave our realtor full reign. We gave the list of requirements of things we needed in a home. But for areas, we said the priority is we wanted a town that had that small town feeling, excellent school system, safe neighborhood. So we had never heard of the town, actually. And we came and we visited this house along with many others. And we were like, wow, I like Norfolk. Yeah, so that's why we're here.
Awesome. How has the business Lucky Ducky Daycare been doing prior to COVID-19?
Fantastic. Over the 15 years that I've been open, I've tweaked things so that I can accommodate more parents. When I first started, I had a younger age range that I accepted, and then you slowly evolve, you know, by request, people asking for older ages and things like that. So actually a couple of years ago, I had thought that it would be a good time to expand even more, not to actually change the number of kids I could accept, but to actually get a larger space, because I am a home-based business and I wanted to have more room to spread out and a separate entrance and stuff like that. So I had put my house on the market and people freaked out. They're like, oh no, Lucky Ducky's going out of business. And I'm like, no way, I'm not going out. I want to stay in town, and I just want to have a separate space for the child care versus using all of the areas of our home all of the time. So I couldn't find anything that I really fell in love with myself to purchase a new home. So we took it off the market, and I said, it's still something in the back of my mind that I want to do, but unless we find something that is so much more and so much better than being here right now, we're staying. So.
Great. So how has this coronavirus pandemic affected your business at all, if it has?
Well, I guess the biggest change was I needed to close as per governor's orders in March. So I was closed from March, and then I reopened in July. And there were several steps that I needed to take in order to apply for opening for the summertime. So that's the biggest change, because out of all the years I've been open, besides taking a scheduled 1 week planned vacation off, I've never just closed for any other reason. So that's the biggest change.
And you mentioned something about virtual classes. What is that about?
So there's a couple of ways that it can be done. One of them is in-person virtual learning, and that's for children that might be in a cohort going to school 2 days a week, and they're going to have remote assignments. So the children can come here, the parents can go to work, and they will be here with their own device and their own headset, actually doing the instruction given by the teacher. And the other option is for parents who are not quite ready to send their children to school. They can hire me to do the lesson plans that the teacher has sent out for them. And I can do that virtually through Zoom or something like that to help them stay at home while the parent may be working and can't, like they would be working at home, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
So is there anything you feel that your business is currently doing to support or to add value to the town during this time?
Well, during this time, I have been trying to reach out to some families that I know have food insecurities from just past experience of people being in my program. So when I was closed, because I was shut down because of COVID-19, I, sort of communicated with people and sort of got a sense of some people's needs, and not everyone's from town. Some people are from out of town. So I was actually picking up groceries and things and just sort of dropping it off to some families that, might be too embarrassed to go to a food pantry or something like that, because people know them, and sometimes that can be a little bit uncomfortable. So that's
awesome.
what I've been doing.
What's the best way for people to get in contact with Lucky Ducky Daycare, and can parents find you on social media?
Yep, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. If you like or follow us basically on Facebook, usually there's lots of updates. There's updates in what's happening. Sometimes you'll find special offers and coupons, but the best way to reach us is either through Messenger or email, because lots of times people will call on a given day that I'm working, and it's hard to answer the phone. There's so many calls that you either see unavailable or spam with a question mark. So I don't want to stop what I'm doing with the kids to answer the phone. But if the kids are sitting down eating, I can kind of zoom through the emails really quick and go through and answer the ones that are priority.
Cool. So you mentioned maybe possibly trying to get a larger place, maybe at some point down the road. Where do you see Lucky Ducky Daycare in 5-10 years?
Well, I'm hoping in the future that I do have a larger space that would be exclusively for the daycare. So I'm sort of envisioning like a mother-in-law apartment that would be completely for the daycare, and each room would sort of be for specific age ranges. So the after-school kids, it would be sort of like a club environment with like a Wii and tablets and the air hockey table. The preschool room would have smaller chairs, cozier for the younger children, and sort of like a cafeteria area for the kids, and another room that would be more of, on a rainy day, it would just be a cool place to play with a ball pit and a slide indoors, like something like that. So that's what my goal is.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you think there's anything you want to talk about or add that we haven't touched upon?
I think we've covered pretty much everything, but in closing, I would like to say to parents who are really nervous this year about either sending their children back to school or signing their kid up for daycare, that we are ready and prepared to handle it as childcare providers. A lot of the steps that have been put into place is common, and it is things that we already do. We're already cleaning and hand washing before we eat, after we eat, before toileting, after toileting. When we got the list of things, of changes that needed to be made, we were like, wow, nothing really changed. We're already doing that. We're already sanitizing toys. We're already cleaning after the kids leave. So rest assured, the only major difference is going to be like whether you wear a mask or not. As a provider, I will be wearing a mask when children arrive. Children who are ages 3 and up, it's optional, and I'll have that conversation with parents, whether they want their child to or not. Children aren't mandated to wear a mask. And if for some reason I feel that children are going to be closer in proximity, then I will suggest, but I will have this conversation with parents in advance. I'll suggest that children do wear a mask for those times, but I have reconfigured all of the daycare space so that all of the desks are at least 3 feet apart. Everyone has their own workstation, and it will be labeled with their name so that they have their own set of crayons and markers and pencils. They get to choose all of the toys that they want in their individual toy box. And every week it'll get rotated, it'll get cleaned out, stuff gets put into quarantine for a week, and then the children get to choose new things to use or switch up things. So parents should really feel safe that we care. I care. I'm a parent. I'm going through the same thing. So I hope people check us out.
That's great. Oh, thank you so much for joining us today, Yashah. It was nice talking to you.
It was wonderful talking to you. Thanks for inviting me to the show.